on this Monday afternoon, October 8th, 2018. It is time now for the Peter Channel News Report on this Monday afternoon, October 8th, 2018. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Peter J. Wiggins. It is 12 noon, and we have a temperature of 60 degrees in North Massachusetts. Top stories on the Peter Channel. New news report is victim texted limo was in terrible condition minutes before crash killed 20 in New York. 2018 elections are about whether Republican power will be checked. President Trump ignores the impacts of climate change in his bill and ours as planet has only until 2030 to stem catastrophic climate change, experts warn. Hurricane Michael nears borders. We'll have more on that coming up on the weather segment of the Peter Channel. New news report coming up in a couple of minutes from now. Justice Brett Kavanaugh gets to work with an all-female law clerk staff. With Kavanaugh confirmation, GOP commits again to patriarchy, Miss Namji. Rod Rosa Sr. joined Trump aboard Air Force One. U.S.-China tensions break out in Beijing. Popular Bulgarian journalist Victor Maranova raped and beaten to death. Jair Bolsonaro will not moderate to push for Brazil presidency. William Nornas and Paul Bremer win Nobel Prize in economics. Chinese stocks fall almost 5% in the market about the path as investors digest a week of bad news in a single day. Toy makers may struggle this holiday season amid the of Toys R Us and more trade war fears. Orsted, a giant offshore wind farms, makes a move in the U.S. Starbucks hires finance chief from Hyatt. Looking at stocks now, down 175.71 points at 26,271.34. SP5 down 18.73 at 2866.84. And NASDAQ down 101.28 points at 7687.44. Kim Jong-un provided no response to the U.S. queries that it issued to the Japanese abductees during his most recent meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. Apple Watch is down under struggle with switch to daylight savings time. China reprimands the U.S. for trade dispute in Taiwan. China looking into the bribery accusations against Mr. Interpol chief. Two former Pakistani leaders at a newspaper that appeared in court Monday face treason charges and will return to face the judges again later this month. South Korean lawmakers have proposed to hold a parliamentary meeting with North Korean politicians of Pyongyang. Law of order turned out to kill the referendum ban gay marriage in Romania over the weekend, even after the vote was extended by the day. Supreme Court Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh is getting up to speed on the High Court bench on Monday after narrowly winning a confirmation from the Senate. Facebook unveils portal speakers its first new hardware in 2 years. Elon Musk's SpaceX launches rocket that sticks the land in a major milestone. There is something wrong with the Hubble Space Telescope. Wind power makes the ground warmer even as it cools the planet. Mysterious ghost radio emissions have been found and no one knows what's causing them. Rare boy-like illness standards in 6 Minnesota kids. In Natick, Massachusetts, 2 on fire. 10 developed rain near the Natick Mall as crews have active fire and electrical data room on Natick Mall complex to the residential park area. Connected accountability. Peter Chill News Time, 12:03 on this Monday afternoon. Time now for a sport busted. Bruins will be taking on the Ottawa Senators. Game time at 1 o'clock at the Garden, and fans of Philly weren't happy for Fox for cutting away from Giants Panthers. Peter Chill News Time is 12:04 on this Monday afternoon, and it's time now for a traffic and transit check. Beep beep. Let's study off a DMBTA with original expedition. Stop by delays up to 10 minutes due to trade with mechanical problem at Ballot. The center trades if they take it out of service. Commuter rail and fares out. Looking good. Alright, look at the downways and boundways in New England and Rhode Island. It's looking good except Route 4 to the southbound side. It's a little slow around the Route 1 and off Kingstown. Mass Pike westbound side between Worcester and Sturbridge. 3 to the southbound side and 1 way to the northbound side. Also in the intersection in Burlington. 3 to the northbound side is slow between Hanover down to 220 Rockland. Route 6 to the westbound side. Stop going between Orleans and the Sagamore Bridge. Severn Expressway at the northbound side. Slow between Dorchester, the Mass Pike in Boston, 128 at the northbound side, also at Braintree Split, 95 northbound side, so 128 out in Canton, 120 to the southbound side. It's over the Linfield line. 93 in Reading and 3 in the southbound and 495 in the southbound side. So 290 in Worcester and around the Marlborough stretch. 291 southbound south on the Mass Pike in Springfield. 395 southbound south also Pennfield, Connecticut. 91 northbound side also around Hartford, Connecticut. 84 westbound side so Murder in Connecticut and Hillcrest in the eastbound side around Denver, Connecticut. 95 northbound side southbound between Severdon and Fairfield, Connecticut. Bear Parkway eastbound side so between Severdon and Bridgeport, Connecticut. Bear Parkway westbound side so the Milford stretch. 93 southbound side so Concord, New Hampshire, and 93 southbound side also Manchester, Hampshire. 95 the southbound side so between York, Maine, Donovan, Hampton, Dulles, and New Hampshire, and Maine Turnback at the northbound side also 202 in Gray, Maine, and 295 the southbound side so Garner, Maine, and 95 the southbound side so Fairfield, Maine. 93 the southbound side it is so at Franklin, New Hampshire, at 8789. At 91 Buffets back with the US Canadian border at hour 50 Buffets and Sword Several Quebec. Peter Childers time 12:06 on this Monday afternoon, and it's time now for a weather report. Looking at the radar, satellite illuminated shows clouds covering much of Vermont, much of New Hampshire, western Maine, and down around eastern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Cape Towns, and eastern Connecticut, and upstate New York. Rain showers and storms northeast of Oswego, New York. Line of rain showers in a line from western portions of Quebec, stretching on Northern Ontario, and down for the Northern Great Lakes, and down for Texas. And this is Michael bringing rains to Cuba and off the western coast of Florida, and patchy rain showers down around the Gulf Coast of the United States. Right now, temperatures at the 50s for much of the region with some lower 60s in southeastern Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Cape Towns, and it's in the 40s, the low 50s at Northern New England. Okay, the latest on Michael, 21.2 to the north, 84.9 in the west, and about 50 miles south of the western tip of Cuba. Back to the same with 7 miles an hour. Hurricane Michael and pressure movement, north 10 miles at 7 miles an hour and 11 kilometers, and minimum set pressure 92 millimeters, 29 inches. Michael becomes a hurricane and continues driving in. Expected heavy rainfall, strong winds spread across western Cuba, and risk of life threatening and storm surge and heavy rainfall, and dangerous winds increasing for the northeastern Gulf Coast. Hurricane warnings effect for the Cuban province of Pinar del Rio, and also warnings effect for the Cuban province of Isle Youth, the coast of Mexico from storm to Cavacache, including Cozumel, storm surge in effect for Navarre, Florida, to Anna Maria Island in Florida, including Tampa Bay. Hurricane watch in effect for Alma in Florida, bordered the Swanee River in Florida. Also watch in effect for Swanee River to Anna Maria Island in Florida, including Tampa Bay. Alabama, Florida border, the Mississippi, Alabama border. Hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions are expected somewhere in the warning area, and tropical warning means that tropical conditions are expected somewhere in the warning area. Storm surge watch means there possibly for life-threatening inundation from resin water moving inland from the coastline to indicate a location during the next 48 hours. At 11 a.m., the center of Hurricane Michael was located on latitude 24.2 to the north, latitude 84.9 in the west. Michael is moving toward the northward off near 7 miles an hour, and northward motion at slightly faster. Port speed is expected by Tuesday night, followed by northeastward motion on Wednesday and Thursday night. The forecast track the center of Michael will move northward near the western tip of Cuba and this afternoon into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico by tonight, and Michael will move across the eastern Gulf of Mexico Tuesday and Tuesday night, and this is expected to move inland over the Florida Panhandle, Florida Bend area by Wednesday and move northeastward across the southeastern United States Wednesday night and Thursday. Data from Air First Week Hurricane under aircraft indicate that maximum sustained winds have increased to near 75 miles an hour with our guests steady to rapid strengthening this forecast during the next day or so. So Michael is forecast to become a major hurricane by Tuesday night. Hurricane force winds extended with 30 miles an hour from the center to southwest force winds extended 175 miles an hour. Central pressure based on their force reserve forecast data is 92 millibars. Storm surge is a combination of dangerous storm surge, and the tide will cause normally dry areas near the coast to be flooded by reservoirs moving inland from the shoreline. That's water that's the potential to reach the follow the heights above ground to the peak surge occurs at the top of the high tide. Indian Pass at Crystal River 8 to 12 feet, or closer Walt County lies at Indian Pass 5 to 8 feet, Crystal River at Edgecody River 4 to 6 feet. Enclody River at the Maria Island, including Tampa Bay 2 to 4 feet, and Nevada at Oklahoma Walton County line 2 to 4 feet. Hurricane conditions are across the far western part of the Cuban province of Pinar del Rio this afternoon. Indian tropical conditions are expected across the area of the waters in Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula later today. Hurricane conditions are possible with hurricane watch area along the U.S. Gulf Coast by Wednesday. With tropical conditions are possible by Tuesday night early Wednesday. Tropical conditions are possible within the tropical watch area by Tuesday night early Wednesday. Michael is expected to produce the following rainfall amounts throughout the weekend. Western Cuba 48 inches, western maximum to 12 inches, and its rainfall complete the light rain and flash floods and mudslides in Florida Panhandle and the Big Bend of the Carolinas. 48 inches with a maximum to 12 inches. This rainfall could lead to light rain and flash floods in Florida Peninsula, Florida, Keys, and portions of the Middle Atlantic states and the southern New England coast. 2 to 4 inches with local amounts of 6 inches. The rainfall could lead to light rain and flash floods in the Yucatan Peninsula. 1 to 2 inches. And swells journeying by Michael affected the south coast of Cuba and the eastern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Swells are expected to begin to affect the coast of the eastern and northern Gulf of Mexico during the next day. So the swells are likely to cause light disturbing hurricanes. Please self-report to be a local web office. Next immediate advisory at 2 p.m. Next immediate advisory 5 p.m. Okay, look at that. We have a handsome weather outlook because periods of heavy rain and strong winds are possible across 7 right now in the southeast of Massachusetts from Thursday to the Friday. Possibly leaning into Saturday due to remnants of Michael. Forecast of given minimum low. Given the time period still 4 to 5 days away. Stay tuned to the related forecast of discussion about this heavy rain and strong wind front. Alright, forecast goes like this. Clouds say clouds got about 60 degrees east with about 5 miles an hour for tonight. Mostly clouds by 53 degrees. Cloud for Tuesday. Mostly clouds by 76 degrees. Cloud coming southwest by 6 miles an hour after Wisconsin gust high is 20 miles an hour for Tuesday. Patchwork after 10 p.m. wise. Mostly gusts about 62 degrees and southwest about 5 miles an hour for Wednesday. Patchwork before noon wise. Mostly suns about 82 degrees and southwest about 5 to 7 miles on Wednesday night. Patchwork after 9 p.m. wise. Mostly gusts about 65 degrees for Thursday. Showers likely after 2 p.m. Patchwork for 10 a.m. wise. Mostly gusts about 74 degrees and chest temperature at 6%. Thursday night. Showers likely before 7 p.m. The rate likely will possibly be a thunderstorm. Between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. Then a chance of rain after 11 p.m. Patchwork after 2 a.m. was mostly cast by 57 degrees. Chance temperature 6% for Friday. Chance of rain, Metro fog for 70 watts. Partly cast by 63 about 45 degrees. Chance temperature 30%. Saturday, most of the partly cast by 56 about 3 degrees. And for Monday, Sunday, most of the time about 57 degrees. And that is getting it for the Peter Channel. New news board on this. Monday afternoon, October 8, 2018. Viewers will be a good afternoon and good positive to the Nasu at 5 o'clock for 5 o'clock for be a good afternoon.